Hello, this is my final project for AP Stats. So I'm going to be looking at two grocery stores, Sprouts versus Stater Brothers, and I'll basically be trying to figure out if more customers at a health food grocery store such as Sprouts wear masks versus at a regular grocery store such as Stater Brothers that wear masks. So, this is a bit of an introduction, just talking about how we're in the midst of a global pandemic and how people have been instructed to take precautions such as social distancing and staying at home, and also wearing masks at places like the grocery store. So, yeah. So, for this observational study, my population is Sprouts and Stater Brothers, both the grocery stores. And then my sample would be the 48 time intervals that I had within a 12-hour time period. And I randomly selected 5 of those intervals to collect mass data from. And I did that for both grocery stores. So for randomization, like I said before, a 12-hour time period to gather data from, so I selected 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then I did 15-minute time intervals, so that made 48 time intervals to choose from. So for both Sprouts and Stater Brothers, I used an online random number generator and plugged in the interval from 1 to 48, and I selected 5 numbers to be chosen. And so for Sprouts, I got these numbers, and for Stater Brothers, I got these numbers. That thing is blocking it. But basically here are the selected times. I put them on a Google Doc and took pictures of them. So for data collection, over the past week, I went to each of the grocery stores during the randomly selected time intervals, and I stood by the entrance of each store and only counted the people entering in the store to collect my data, not the people who were already in the store. And I tallied the numbers of people who entered wearing masks and those who did not. And I kind of ended up telling the employees, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, because it was kind of creepy, me going there several times a week and just standing by the doorway. So yeah, they kind of knew. So some possible issues. Sprouts did have a sign at the entrance that said masks are required, and Stater Brothers didn't have any signs like this. And then also when doing the testing, conditions may not be met. So here's some pictures from like Wednesday or something when I went to both the stores to collect data. So here's a pretty basic question that I created, a 2 proportion t-test question. So what I ended up doing was I counted the total number of people at Sprouts who didn't wear masks and then who did wear masks, and made a proportion, and then made a percentage out of it, which is 16.8%, and I did the same thing with Stater Brothers, and I got 33.5%. So conditions for this hypothesis test. The time intervals when the data would be collected were randomly selected, so the random condition was met. However, the 10% and normal condition were not met. This is because there are not more than 60 15-minute time intervals in a 12-hour period. And then this number right here is not greater than 10, and this number right here is not greater than 10. So here's the work for the actual z-test. These are the parameters in the hypothesis, and then the conditions were obviously in the slide above. And then here is the work. I ended up getting a p-value of 0.271. So for my conclusion, basically I just found that more people at a health food grocery store tend to wear masks, while at a regular grocery store less people wear masks. It's just based on the p-value, and yeah. And then I did do a confidence interval as the conditions were not met in the hypothesis test. So same thing, random condition met because of the time intervals being randomly selected, and then 10% not met because there are not more than 60 15-minute time intervals in a 12-hour period. So same thing, same parameter hypothesis and then conditions in the slide before. And here's my Z-star test that I did. and this is the interval I got. So I did it at a 90% confidence interval, and so I got negative 0.618 and then 0.284. So for the conclusion, we are 90% confident that the interval from this interval captures the actual difference of customers who do not wear masks at a health food grocery store. So just in simpler, more human terms, this therefore shows that people are more likely to wear a mask at a health food grocery store such as Sprouts versus a regular grocery store such as Stater Brothers. And yeah, that's it. This was very fun and interesting to see and do. And thank you.